Hello everyone, this is Uzma and today's topic which we are going to discuss is about goods. In the previous classes we have discussed about utility as well as we have discussed about wants. Utility were of four types: form utility, time utility, place utility and service utility. And in the previous class we also discussed about wants. What are the features of wants? There were 9 kinds of wants. How many kinds? There were 9 kinds of wants. The first one was wants are unlimited. Then the second is a particular want is satiable at a point of time. The third is competition. There is competition between wants. Next is complementary. Then substitution. Then wants differ in urgency. Wants turn into habits. Then wants are recur, they repeat again and again. And the last one was wants differ from person to person, time to time and place to place. So these were the topics which we have discussed earlier. Hope you have practiced and revised it. And today we are going to discuss about goods and what are the various kinds of goods, what are the various types of goods. This is also a very important question which can be asked as a 5 marks. So in this one question there are two possibilities. You can get either this question as a 5 marks or the whole question as a 5 marks. And plus the plus point of this concept is from this side headings you are going to get 2 marks questions also. So let us start the topic. Goods. What is the meaning of goods here? Goods are the certain things which have certain value. Goods are nothing but which have certain value and which can satisfy the human want. Goods are nothing but which have certain value and which also have the capacity to satisfy human want. Let us take one of the example, that is as soon as you wake up in the morning, before eating food we brush our teeth, right? We brush our teeth. So in order to satisfy your want of cleaning your mouth, you require two commodities, that is you require a toothpaste and you also require a toothbrush. You require toothpaste as well as a toothbrush. So toothpaste, whatever kind which you are convenient, like Close-Up or Colgate, anything. So is this toothpaste having a certain value? Right? It is having some price also. You are paying some money and you are getting the toothpaste. Am I right? So can I say that it is having a price as well as value? Whatever things you pay price, you give money, that means it is having value. Okay, whenever you give money to buy some commodity, that means it is valuable for you. So toothpaste and toothbrush are goods which are having certain value and they are satisfying your want of cleaning your mouth. Now the main definition of the goods is which have certain value as well as which can satisfy the human want are known as goods. Now these goods are classified into two types, that is material goods and non-material goods. Material goods and non-material goods. Now material goods in the sense which are tangible, and non-material in the sense which are intangible. Let us know the meaning of these two terms. Tangible means which you can feel as well as touch and the things which can be seen. For example, you are cooking chapatis. On which type of equipment are you going to cook the chapatis? On a pan. That too, if I on the stove, if I touch the pan, I am going to have something in my body, that I have the capacity to feel whether it is hot or cool. So I can see a pan. Okay, it can be seen, it can be touched, and it can be felt also. So the things which you can see and which can be touched and which can be felt are called as material goods. What is non-material? Means which are intangible, which you cannot see, which you cannot touch. Okay, like example, the services of teachers, doctors, lawyers, etc. These are all the professionals, right? So they are providing some service, that is a non-material good, which you cannot see and which you cannot touch, but it can be felt. This topic is related with the previous class service utility concept. Am I right? Fine. Then goods are divided into material and non-material, and this non-material is further divided into free goods and economic goods. Non-material goods are again divided into free goods and economic goods. Let us see the meaning and as well as the differences between these two terms, free goods and economic goods. So free goods are freely supplied by the nature. Free goods are freely supplied by the nature. Okay, human beings are not making this kind of goods, they are freely supplied. For example, air, water, sunlight, these all the things are a free gift of nature. Am I right? Are you making air or sunlight or water? No, we human beings are not making these goods, they are freely supplied by the nature, or you can say that they are free gift of nature. So free goods are freely supplied by nature, and it has examples like air, water and sunlight. Then coming to economic goods, these goods are man-made. That means it requires some human effort. It requires some human effort. For example, making of books, making of pens, these are not the free gift of nature. Okay, these are made by man. Okay, so can we tell that economic goods are made by human beings, by some human efforts, and the examples are books and pens. The first point is clear, they are freely supplied by the nature and they are man-made goods which require some human effort. The second point, they are abundant. They are abundant means more in quantity. Abundant means more in quantity. You cannot measure it. For example, stars in sky. Can you count the stars in the sky? No, it is limitless. That means can I say that the stars in the sky are abundant? Yes. Can you measure the air in this room? No. When you go outside from your house, you might be seeing sunlight everywhere during the daytime. Can you capture all the sunlight in something? Or can you measure all the sunlight? Can you calculate it? No. So, we can say that free goods are abundant. Now, economic goods are always scarce. Scarce means less in quantity. Okay. Economic goods are always scarce. They are less in quantity, whereas free goods are more in quantity. So this more in quantity and less in quantity, there are two words, that is abundant and scarce. Next, the third thing is the supply is always more and the demand is less for free goods. Supply is more and demand is less. Now I can tell you that supply is more than demand. For example, I cannot say that I require only this much of air. I cannot say that I require this much of oxygen. Can I say you like that? No. The supply is unlimited, but the demand is always less. When coming to economic goods, they have less supply but more demand. They have less supply and more demand. I can say you that supply is always less than demand. Supply is always less than demand. Let me give you an example. If I just ask you that I need a hand loan at present right now, can you give me 50 lakhs now at present? Is it in your account? No. Why? Because its supply is always less. Money is also a commodity which is made by the human beings. Am I right? So it is less in quantity, but it is having more demand. That means the supply of money is less, whereas the demand for money is more. Everyone want money. The rich, the poor, the middle class, all the people in this world want money. That means the demand of all the economic goods, not only money, the demand for all the economic goods is more, and the supply is always less. Am I right or not? For example, when you go for buying any dress which you have liked past 1 week, you have seen the dress, and because you were not having money, you took time for 1 week and you came back after a week again to the same shop in order to buy the dress. So at that time the shopkeeper says that the dress is sold to someone else. It will take some time again for the new stock to arrive. So the supply is less where the people's demand is more. So dress is also an economic good. So now we can say that for all the economic goods, the supply is less and the demand is more. Don't get confused in this point between supply and demand. Just keep in mind that free goods supply is more than demand, and economic goods supply is less than demand. The fourth point, they don't have any price and they have a price. Free goods don't have any price. For example, I am breathing the air right now, even you are breathing the air. Are you paying money for each and every second, minute, hour? Are you paying some money? No. Why? Because free goods are not having any price. Now in daytime, when you open the windows of your house, sunlight is going to enter in your house. So are you paying the price to someone because you are paying the price to sun, that you are giving me sunlight, so I need to pay some money to you? No, because free goods don't have any price, whereas economic goods have price because they are made by human beings. When I make some product, why I will make the product? In order to sell it to someone. When I am selling to someone, I will take some money. That means that commodity which I am selling is having certain price. So all the economic goods have price, whereas free goods do not have any price. Let's come to the next point. It does not require any cost of production. It does not require cost of production, and it requires cost of production. Now what do you mean by cost of production? Means the act of manufacturing something or producing something. So for example, we'll take books. You are reading from books, right? That is which kind of good? Free good or economic good? It is an economic good because it is made by human beings. So from where actually paper comes? Paper comes from wood. So you need to visit to the forest, the persons bring wood from there, cut it into pieces, then convert it into paper by different procedure and techniques. Then after the paper is formed, again it requires printing skills, like single rule, we have double rule, and many colors will be there for the books. So there are different procedures here. So I require labor for that, I require machinery for that, I require a complete infrastructure for that. So for all these things, in order to manufacture just one book, I need many things. So the book undergoes many processes which also require money. I need to pay money for buying the machine, I need to pay money for the laborers who are working in my industry. So This all is giving me some cost. These are all my expenses. So in order to manufacture some economic good, it requires cost of production, whereas free goods doesn't require any cost of production. We are not manufacturing free goods, that are free gift of nature, so it does not require any cost of production, but it requires cost of production. The first is freely supplied by nature, they are handmade goods. Then these are abundant in nature and these are scarce. Then the supply is always more than demand, the supply is always less than demand. The fourth point, they don't have any price. Free goods don't have any price. Economic goods have a price. Economic goods have a price. Then free goods don't have any cost of production, whereas economic goods require cost of production. Last second point, free goods have value in use, but they don't have value in exchange, whereas economic goods, they have both value in use as well as value in exchange. Now let us know the meaning of these two terms, what is value in use and what is value in exchange. Let us consider an example that we'll have a deal or we'll have an agreement between you and me. I will give you how much air you want, I am ready to give you, and how much sunlight you want, I am ready to give you. Unlimited, how much you want, I am ready to give. But in return, I am just asking you for a small piece of diamond, just a small piece of diamond. You just give me a small piece of diamond and I will give you how much air you want, how much sunlight you want, I am ready to give. Okay, so will you agree with this deal? Will you agree to this agreement? No. Why? Because you have minimum intelligence that air is everywhere. It don't have any price. So how can I give you air, and diamond is the most costliest resource. So that will be a profit of me and loss for you. So because of that reason, like air is a free good. So air is not having any value in exchange, but it is having value in use. Without air we cannot live. Okay, when the current is gone, can you live for some time without air? No, because it is having value in use. But we cannot exchange the free goods. Whereas coming to economic goods, they have both value in use as well as the value in exchange. For example, car. If at all I am not in need of car, but I have a car, then I will sell it to someone else, and someone else is going to purchase my car. That means in exchange of money I am selling my car. So I have used it also, I have exchanged it also. So all the economic goods which are man-made have both value in use as well as value in exchange. The last point is they are included in national income. They are included in national income and they are not included in national income. National income means the income of the whole country. So for free goods, they are not included in national income, whereas economic goods are included, because by selling the products we are getting money. So money is nothing but income, right? So they are included in national income, they are not included in national income. So the topic free goods and economic goods differences are completed. Coming back to this side, we read that the goods are divided into two types, material and non-material. And non-material is again divided into free goods and economic goods. Till here you have understood the concept. Now this economic goods are further divided into three types. Consumer goods, capital goods and intermediary goods. Consumer, capital and intermediary. Let us see. So the economic goods are divided into consumer, capital and intermediary. Now what are consumer goods? Consumer goods are ready to use. They are ready to use and they can satisfy human wants directly. They can satisfy human wants directly. For example, we have milk or any kind of fruits. You can use it only for one time. Am I right? You can use it anytime. It is ready to use. Fruits, anytime you can just cut it and eat it. No need to cook it. Okay, so can I say that consumer goods are ready to use, like fruits or any kind of apple, mango, papaya or watermelon, anything that is ready to use, and also it can satisfy our want directly. Like we have discussed earlier that if I want to drink a cup of coffee, it can satisfy my want indirectly because I need number of commodities, keep it on a stuff, cook it, various procedures. That is indirect procedure. This is directly satisfying my want and it is also ready to use. So we can consider that as consumer goods. These consumer goods are further divided into two types, that is perishable and durable. Perishable goods means which you can use it only for one time, only one use. And the second point is it cannot be stored for a longer period. It cannot be stored for a longer period. For example, apple. If you just cut an apple and bring it in your lunch box, so can you store it for 2 to 3 days and can you eat after 2 to 3 days a cut apple? No, because it is perishable. Because it is perishable. You cannot store it for a longer period. Plus, you cannot use it more than one time. Once, if you imagine that you have offered me an apple, madam, you can have an apple. So, when I consume an apple, after 1 hour, again you are asking me, madam, please give my apple back to me. Can I return your apple back to you? Yeah, I can return. I can buy some apple and give to you. But the same apple, can I return you back? No, because it is just for one time. I cannot use it, the same apple, for more than one time. So, perishable means which you can use it only for one time and that cannot be stored for a longer period. Example, milk and paper plates. Paper plates also. After eating once in the plate, can you use it again? No, you need to throw it. Am I right? So, these kind of goods which can be used only once and which cannot be stored for a longer period are called as perishable goods. The next, durable goods. You can use it for more than one time, plus it will have warranty. Like for example, if you purchase fans, if you buy fans for your house, imagine that you have bought 2 fans for your hall. So, after one day, are you going to buy again 2 fans for the same hall? No, because you can use it for more than one time. Plus, every commodity will have the warranty for like 1 year, 2 years or 3 years. Example, you have bought a washing machine for your house for washing clothes. On Monday, you have washed all the clothes. For Tuesday, again, are you going to the market and buy a new washing machine? No, because they are durable goods. You can use it more than one time, as well as it is having some longer period. You can store it for longer time. For example, fans, machines, furniture, the furniture in your house like chairs, tables, we won't buy it again and again. Only one time investment. But you can use it again and again. You can store it for a longer period. So, consumer goods divided into how many types? 2 types, perishable and durable. Perishable and durable. The next type is capital goods. Capital goods are also called as producer goods. Capital goods are also called as producer goods. Now, what do we mean by a capital good? The goods which are used to produce other goods. The goods which are used to produce other goods are called as capital goods. This is quite confusing for you, maybe. But it can satisfy our want indirectly. It can satisfy our want indirectly. This is further again divided into two types: single use and durable use. Single use means you can use it for one time. For example, coal. When do we use coal? During any kind of functions or marriages where you need to cook in larger quantity. So at that time we use coal. After cooking for once, can you use the same coal again? No, because it is turning into ashes. It turns into powder. So can I say that coal can be used only once? So it is a single use capital good. Okay, and it also satisfy my want indirectly. I want to eat so and so dish. I want to eat so and so chicken. So by using coal I am cooking it, and indirectly it is satisfying my want. Now what are durable goods which you can use for more number of times, which you can use for 1 year, 2 year, etc. Like say machines and tools. Okay, from this starting, economic goods divided into three types. The first one is consumer goods, which is further divided into two types: perishable and durable. The second type of capital economic goods is capital goods. These are also called as producer goods. It is further divided into two types: single use and durable use. The last and final conclusion of the economic goods is, the third type is intermediary goods. Intermediary goods. That means the goods which are not yet finished. The goods which are not yet finished or semi-finished goods are called as intermediary goods. That means they are still under different process of production. For example, cement, bricks, etc. Cement, bricks, etc. Cement is not a complete finished product, that is semi-finished. In the cement powder we mix water, etc., then make it in a paste and then apply it on the walls, then it is making into a finished goods. Bricks also, it is not a fully finished goods, it is a semi-finished, half finished. By using the bricks we construct a building. When the building is constructed, I can see that that is the final good. So intermediary goods means which are not yet finished or semi-finished goods and which are still under different process of production are called as intermediary goods. Let us fastly have a glance on all the topics which we have discussed today. Goods and various kinds of goods. Goods are divided into two types: material and non-material. Non-material again divided into free goods and economic goods. Economic goods again divided into consumer goods, capital goods, intermediary goods. From these three types, consumer divided into perishable and durable, capital is divided into single use durable goods, and the final one is intermediary goods. I hope that this topic was clearly understandable for you, and I hope that you have revised the previous concepts like utility, wants, and this is the third topic which we have discussed, that is various kinds of goods. Very important topics. Please stay in connection with these topics. Please practice it again and again and close the book and try to ask the questions to you whether you have understood so and so topic. Try to explain it to yourself. Okay. Then see you in the next class with some new topics. Till that, stay safe and keep practicing.